On New Year's Eve, I stood on a freezing street holding my 5-year-old daughter. She stopped breathing in my arms. While not far away, my husband was setting off $100,000 per second fireworks for his mistress, showing off his love. The money that could have saved my daughter was being used to impress another woman. The next day, I walked into the police station with my daughter's body. Before the story starts, tell me in the comments where you watched this video, and don't forget to subscribe. I held Lily in my arms, standing on a frigid suburban street in the U.S., watching the fireworks. Lily was 5 and so light. She shivered in my arms, her breaths getting weaker with each one. "Mom," she whispered, "when is Daddy coming home?" I told her soon. I didn't really know. My husband, Luke, called yesterday saying his flight was delayed. He mentioned a blizzard, that he couldn't get back. He said, "I'm sorry, baby. I'll be with you both next New Year's Eve." I believed him. I always believed him. A black Tesla was parked by the curb. Familiar. The license plate even more so. It was Luke's car. He had said it was a company car, taken on a business trip. But now it was here. The window was slightly open. I saw Luke's profile. He smiled so gently, running his fingers through a young woman's hair. She wore a white puffer jacket. Luke pulled out a small box from his pocket. He opened it. The woman gasped and covered her mouth in surprise. I saw the bracelet. Emeralds. My grandmother had left it to me. It had gone missing last month. Luke said maybe it got thrown out during cleaning. I cried all night. Now it was on that woman's wrist. Luke's hand rested lightly on her belly. There was a small bump. I heard him say, "Tomorrow I'll take you home to meet my parents." The woman laughed. "You really bought the villa? $500,000. Full payment," Luke said, kissing her forehead. "A gift for you and the baby." The fireworks exploded again. A huge golden chrysanthemum filled the sky. The crowd cheered. Someone shouted in English, "Look, there are letters." The fireworks spelled, "Jasmine. I love you." Jasmine. That was her name. Bystanders marveled. Wow. Talk about a husband who spoils his wife. So romantic. Jealous. I looked down at Lily. Her eyes were still open, but they didn't blink. I held her little hand. Cold. Pressed my cheek to hers. Cold. "Lily?" I whispered. She didn't respond. Fireworks kept exploding, one after another. So loud, so bright. But Lily's heart had stopped. Right at the moment the words "I love you" lit up the sky. I stood there holding Lily, clutching a hospital bill in my hand. $10,000 a day. Lily needed specialized care. I couldn't pay. I begged Luke to send money. He said cash flow was tight. To wait a little longer. That 1 second of fireworks. I checked. Custom fireworks with words like that start at $100,000. The money he spent on his mistress for 1 second could have kept my daughter alive for 10 days. But he chose that second. Jasmine got out of the car. She linked arms with Luke, smiling sweetly. She threw herself into his arms in front of everyone, lifting her face for a kiss. Luke bent down, kissed her, his hand on her belly. They looked like a real family of 3. I shakily pulled out my phone, called Luke. He glanced at the screen, frowned, said something to Jasmine, then walked a few steps before answering. "Hello?" Fireworks cracked in the background. "Can't hear you." "What?" I opened my mouth, my voice hoarse. "Lily's dying." "What?" "I can't hear you." He raised his voice. "It's too loud here. I'm at the airport. Blizzard. Flights might get cancelled. Talk later." "Lily's dying," I screamed. 2 seconds of silence on the other end. Then he said, "Evelyn, don't get so emotional. I get that our daughter is sick, but you can't curse her every time something happens. I'm really busy, bye." Click. The dial tone. The fireworks blasted above. The crowd cheered. I held my daughter's cold body under his $100,000 "I love you" and couldn't cry. The ambulance arrived. The paramedics took Lily and shook their heads. They asked me questions. I answered mechanically. Signed forms. Completed paperwork. My mind buzzed. 7 years. Luke and I. From school uniforms to wedding dresses. Married right after college. He started a business. I worked to support the family. At our hardest, we ate nothing but instant noodles for a month. Later, his company grew. We had money. he said. Honey, quit your job. I'll take care of you. I believed him. 3 years ago, Lily was diagnosed with a congenital liver disease. She needed a transplant. Luke got tested and matched. He donated part of his liver to her without hesitation. Outside the OR, holding my hand, he said, "Don't be afraid. Our family of 3 will always be together." I cried like a baby. I thought this was love. Later, the company ran into problems. Cash flow froze. We sold the house. I sold 20% of the shares my parents gave me before marriage to cover emergencies. Luke held me, saying, "I'll make it up to you 100 times over." I said, "A family speaks as one." I thought this was weathering hardship together. Now I think, when we sold the shares, he was desperate. After the liver donation, he recovered unusually fast. Doctors said it was rare, and Jasmine just said they'd been married 2 months. 2 months ago, Luke was still telling me, "Honey, when Lily gets better, we'll have our wedding in the Maldives." A liar. All lies. The funeral home came for Lily. I asked them not to cremate her yet. They agreed. I went home alone, not home. A rented apartment. We've rented since selling the house. I rummaged through drawers. Found an old phone I'd used before we married. Never threw it away. Turned it on. Only 3% battery left. Opened WeChat. Only one contact, wife. Luke's other number. Back then he joked, "This number is only for you. You're my only wife." I hadn't logged in for years. Chat history stopped 3 years ago, but Moments had updates. I tapped it open. The first post. From 2 months ago, finally legal. "My Jasmine, please take care of me for the rest of our lives." Attached photo, a marriage certificate. The bride's name, Jasmine Cole. Cole. Lily's attending physician was also named Dr. Cole. My hands started shaking. I scrolled down. 6 months ago, almost got sued. Thank God my husband was there. Attached photo, a medical dispute mediation document. The patient's name was blurred out, but the diagnosis read, Miss Neonatal Jaundice, leading to liver cirrhosis 5 months later. Lily had been diagnosed with cirrhosis at 5 months. Her attending physician was Dr. Cole. 4 months ago, bride price for my husband, 20% company shares. Officially a shareholder's wife now, 20%. Exactly the portion I had sold. I sank onto the floor. The phone died. In the darkness, I could hear my teeth chattering, not from the cold, from hatred. The next day, I went to the hospital to handle paperwork. I ran into Jasmine in the hallway. She was alone, wearing a beige coat, cheeks rosy. When she saw me, she paused, then smiled. "Oh, you're the woman from yesterday. Are you here for a prenatal checkup too?" I stared at her. She said, "You don't look so good. Did your husband not come with you?" She pulled me aside out of the draft. Men are all like that. My husband's busy too, but he always shows up for the important moments. My voice was dry. "Your husband treats you well?" "Extremely well." Her eyes lit up. "He went crazy chasing me. I once had a medical incident, almost got sued, and he used his connections to fix everything. He even gave me company shares as a bride price. Said he wouldn't let his wife suffer." Medical incident. Shares. Every word felt like a knife cutting into me. "How old is your baby?" I asked. 5 months. She touched her belly. "The pregnancy was unstable before, but it's fine now." "What about your child?" "She's in the hospital." I said. "What's wrong with her?" She asked with concern. I looked straight into her eyes. Congenital liver disease. Jaundice was missed at 5 months. It dragged on until cirrhosis. Jasmine's expression froze for a split second. Then she recovered. That's so sad. My husband knows a lot of doctors. Want me to introduce someone?" I said calmly. Her attending physician's last name is Cole. Her face went white. At that moment, footsteps came from down the hall. Luke hurried over, a thermos in his hand. He didn't see me at first. Heading straight for Jasmine. His voice so gentle it almost dripped. "Sweetheart, why are you standing here? Aren't you cold?" He put an arm around her. Then he looked up and saw me. He froze like he'd been struck by lightning. Jasmine smiled. "Honey, this lady's child is sick too. So pitiful. We should help her, right?" Luke opened his mouth. No sound came out. I looked at them. 2 wives. In the same frame for the first time, Luke's hand was trembling. He let go of Jasmine and took a step toward me. "Evelyn, why are you here?" "Paperwork," I said. "What paperwork?" His voice tightened. "Where's Lily?" I didn't answer. He panicked. I could tell. When he panicked, his right eyelid twitched. It was twitching badly now. Jasmine walked over and looped her arm through his. "Honey, you know each other?" Luke swallowed. "This is a family member of one of my employees. An employee's family." I laughed until tears ran down my face. Luke avoided my eyes. "Evelyn, go home first. I'll contact you later." I said okay. I turned and walked away. My steps were steady. I didn't run. I didn't look back. I heard Luke call my name softly behind me, but I didn't stop. I left the hospital and got into the funeral home's car. As the car pulled away, my phone rang. "Luke," I answered. "Evelyn," he said cautiously. "You didn't say anything strange just now, did you?" "No," I said. He clearly relaxed. "Good. How's Lily? Is the money enough? I'll transfer more if needed." I watched the streets blur past the window and said calmly, "She's dead." Dead silence on the line. Then he exploded. "What nonsense are you talking about, Evelyn? I'm warning you, don't joke about our daughter. Do that again and I'll really lose my temper." I hung up, blocked him. The funeral home staff asked gently, "Ma'am, straight to the crematorium?" "No," I said. "The police station first." At the station, I filed a report. I said my daughter's death was suspicious and requested an autopsy. The officer asked what the grounds were. I said the attending physician might be involved in medical malpractice, and my husband was having an affair with the doctor. The officer took notes and said evidence would be required. I said I would provide it. After leaving the station, I turned on the old phone, connected a power bank, and took screenshots of Luke's posts. I photographed all the hospital bills and Lily's medical records. Then I went to see a lawyer. He was an old subordinate of my father's. Before my dad passed away, he told me, "If you ever run into real trouble, go find Uncle Chen." Uncle Chen's face turned iron dark as he reviewed the materials. "Animals," he said. "Evelyn, I'll take this case all the way." He told me not to alert them yet. He said we needed more evidence. I agreed. That night, when I returned to the apartment, Luke was waiting outside the door. His eyes were red, like he'd been crying. When he saw me, he rushed over and grabbed my shoulders. "Where's Lily? Where did you hide her?" "She's dead," I said. "Her body's at the funeral home, waiting for an autopsy." He slapped me hard across the face. "Are you insane? An autopsy? You won't even let our daughter rest in peace?" "Evelyn, I never thought you were this vicious. Just because I didn't spend New Year's with you, you curse our daughter like this?" My face burned, but I didn't cry. I said, "Luke, do you dare go to the police station with me and explain your relationship with Jasmine Cole?" He froze, then took a step back. You know?" "I know," I said. His expression shifted from rage to panic to something vicious. "So what if you know?" He lowered his voice. "Evelyn, I'm telling you, Jasmine is pregnant. She can't be stressed. If you dare make trouble, I'll make sure you don't get a cent. And don't even think about me paying Lily's medical bills. You never paid them anyway," I said. He choked, then spat out, "Just wait," and left. I locked the door behind him, sat alone in the dark, and sent Uncle Chen a message. "It's time." 3 days later, I got a video from an unknown number. I opened it. It was dashcam footage. Inside the car, Luke was driving, Jasmine in the passenger seat, her hand on her belly. They were laughing and talking. Luke said, "Once the baby's born, I'll divorce that old hag. The shares are already under your name, she won't get a cent." Jasmine laughed. "What about Lily? She's so sick. Won't last long." Luke said casually, "When she dies, it'll be easier." The video ended there. I trembled all over, grabbed my car keys and ran out the door. I knew where they were. Jasmine's post included her location, a high-end private maternity hospital. I drove there fast. It was dark, the road full of twists and turns. I drove like a maniac. Then I saw the black Tesla, right ahead. I sped up, trying to force him to stop. He saw me and accelerated too. On a curve, I yanked the wheel. The two cars collided. Bang! A deafening crash. My car slammed into the guardrail. Glass shattered, cutting into my thigh. Blood gushed out. I was dizzy. I saw Luke get out. He was fine and walked quickly toward me. Stunned when he saw my car, he pounded the window. "Evelyn, are you insane?" I opened the door to speak. Then I heard Jasmine crying from the passenger seat. "Honey, my stomach hurts. I'm bleeding." Luke looked back at her, then at me, hesitated for a second. Just 1 second. Then he turned, ran back to the car, scooped up Jasmine, and rushed to the hospital, leaving me in a pool of blood. It was freezing outside. The blood was warm. I collapsed onto the steering wheel and laughed until I coughed up blood. Passers-by rescued me and brought me to the same hospital. 8 stitches in my leg, lying in the ER. I heard noise from the VIP ward next door. Luke's parents had arrived. His mother shrilled, "That crazy woman! She tried to kill my grandson." His father shouted, "Divorce! Absolutely divorce! Make her leave empty-handed." Jasmine cried, "It's my fault. I shouldn't have provoked her." Luke comforted her. "It's not her fault, it's her malice." I yanked out my dragged my injured leg and got up. Step by step, I moved to the next room, pushed open the door. 4 people stared at me. Luke reacted first. "What are you doing here? Get out!" I steadied myself on the doorframe, looked at Jasmine, missed a diagnosis for my daughter, seduced my husband, transferred my shares. Jasmine Cole, "Do you sleep at night?" Her face went pale. His mother lunged at me. I dodged and slapped Jasmine across the face. A loud smack. "This slap is for my daughter," Jasmine screamed. Luke shoved me, shouting, "You're asking for it." I fell. The wound on my leg split, blood seeping out. But I kept yelling, "Listen up. These two, Lucas, my legal husband, Jasmine, the mistress, they conspired to kill my daughter and steal my property." The hallway filled with people, nurses, patients, family members, pointing, whispering. His mother went ballistic. "Nonsense. My son divorced you ages ago. Where's the divorce certificate?" I asked. She was speechless. Jasmine suddenly clutched her belly. "Ah, it hurts." The baby, blood pooled beneath her. The crowd panicked. Luke panicked, scooped her up, and ran toward the oar. He kicked me in the process, right in my stomach. I curled up in pain. He shouted over his shoulder, "If my son is harmed, you'll pay with your life." Then he ran off. I lay there listening to people comment, "Attacking the wife? Brutal. The mistress is bleeding, serves her right. This first wife has it rough." I closed my eyes. I woke up in a hospital room. Uncle Chen sat by the bed. "All the evidence is ready," he said quietly. "The medical malpractice report is out. It confirms the misdiagnosis, delayed treatment, and the 20% shares Lucas transferred to Jasmine. There were procedural issues. We can sue to get them back." I said okay. The hospital door opened. Luke walked in alone. His eyes were red, like he hadn't slept. Jasmine lost the baby. He croaked, "Happy now?" I didn't answer. He crouched beside me and held my hand. The tears came easily. "Evelyn, let's not fight. I know I wronged you, but it's done. Jasmine just lost her child, she's in pain. Can't you pity her and give her some shares, please?" I looked at him. "How much?" 15% is fine," he said urgently. "The remaining 5% stays with you, and I'll cover all of Lily's medical expenses. I'll even get her the best plot and the most proper funeral. Lily's already dead." I said, "I know, but we can pretend she's still alive." He gripped my hand. "Sign the share transfer, and I'll send the money immediately. I'll give you a monthly allowance. You'll be fine, okay?" I looked down, pretending to think. Then I cried, really cried. "Lucas, I only have you left. Don't leave me." A flicker of triumph appeared in his eyes. "Never. You'll always be my wife." He hugged me. "I brought the agreement, sign, and everything will be fine." I nodded, sniffling. He handed me the agreement and a pen. I signed. The handwriting shook, like someone breaking apart. He tucked the papers away, sighed in relief, and patted my head. "Good girl. I'll transfer the money later." He left. The door closed. I wiped my tears. Took out the phone under my pillow. The call screen was still on. Uncle Chen's voice came through. It's all recorded. Extortion, evidence solid. I said, shall we close the net? Yes, Uncle Chen said. The shareholder meeting is tomorrow. Everything's arranged. The next day, Luke's company held an emergency shareholders meeting. I was wheeled in by Uncle Chen, clutching Lily's little blanket. The meeting room was full. Luke sat at the head of the table, Jasmine beside him, wearing a new fur coat, still a little pale but grinning smugly. His parents were there too. The moment they saw me, they started yelling, "Who let her in? Get out! Shameful!" Luke raised a hand to stop them and smiled at me. "Evelyn is here to sign the share transfer agreement. Once she signs, she'll leave." He walked over and spread the papers on the table. "Everyone, my ex-wife has voluntarily agreed to transfer 15% of her shares to my current wife, Jasmine." As I interrupted. "As what?" He frowned. "As compensation." "Compensation for what?" I asked. "For emotional distress," he said impatiently. "Sign it, please." I didn't move. I looked at everyone in the room. "Before signing, I'd like you all to see a few things." I nodded at Uncle Chen. The projector screen lit up. The first video, New Year's Eve. Under fireworks. Luke putting a bracelet on Jasmine, touching her belly, talking about buying a villa. The second recording, Jasmine admitting the medical incident and Luke helping her cover it up. The third video, dashcam footage of the car crash. Luke abandoning me. The room went silent. Luke went pale. "This is fake. It's fabricated." The screen switched. Fourth document, the official medical malpractice report, stamped by the Health Bureau. Fifth document, the share transfer records, showing Luke had moved the shares without my knowledge. Sixth photo, Luke and my marriage certificate, dated 7 years ago. Seventh photo, Luke and Jasmine's marriage certificate, dated 2 months ago. Bigamy, undeniable. The shareholders erupted. "Bigamy? Asset theft? What has happened to this company?" Luke lunged for the control panel to turn off the screen. Too late. The police entered. The lead officer showed his badge. "Lucas Joe. Jasmine Cole. You are suspected of bigamy, fraud, transferring marital property, and concealing medical malpractice. You must come with us." Jasmine screamed. "I'm innocent. I'm his legal wife." The officers held up 2 marriage certificates. "Which one is legal?" She froze. As Luke was handcuffed, he looked back at me, his gaze murderous. I hugged Lily's little blanket and whispered, "Sweetheart, Mommy got your revenge." Luke and Jasmine were taken away, but it wasn't over. His mother lunged at me, but the security held her back. "You venomous woman. You ruined my son. I'm suing you. Please," I said. Uncle Chen handed me another document. The tax bureau found the company evaded $30 million in taxes. The fire safety inspection failed, and they've ordered a temporary shutdown. The bank has frozen all accounts. Also, he paused. "Many of your father's old colleagues are now in key positions. They've made arrangements. This case will proceed swiftly and strictly." I nodded. My father had been a powerful man. Though he passed early, his connections remained. I used to refuse to leverage them, wanting to rely on myself. Not anymore. Power unused is wasted. 3 days later, before the trial, Luke requested a meeting. I went. He looked haggard, his eyes sunken. "Evelyn, I know I was wrong," he said, clutching the railing. "Withdraw the case. We were married after all. Don't you want to spare me prison?" "I can," I said. He choked, then lowered his voice. "Don't push me. I still have leverage over you." "What leverage?" "Your father's old car accident," he stared at me, "wasn't an accident." My hand trembled. "What do you know?" "Withdraw the case, and I'll tell you," he said, smiling. "Otherwise, I'll make sure your father doesn't rest in peace, even in death." I looked at his face. Nausea washed over me. "No thanks." I turned. "I'll investigate my father's death myself." "Evelyn," he shouted, "you'll regret this." I didn't look back. Outside the detention center, Uncle Chen was waiting in the car. "It's confirmed," he said gravely. "Your father's brake line was tampered with. The main suspect, Luke's father, Jian Zhou." I closed my eyes. As expected, from start to finish, it was all a conspiracy. A week later, the trial resumed. Uncle Chin presented new evidence. Household registry records. They showed Luke Zhou had a twin brother, Mark Wright. Their parents divorced when they were young. The brother took their mother's surname and went abroad. The real Lucas Zhou had died 3 years ago in a car accident. Cause of death, brake failure. I sat at the plaintiff's table as the lawyer explained. Defendant Mark Wright impersonated his deceased brother, Lucas Zhou, to marry my client. His parents, Jian Zhou and Xiaoying Wang, orchestrated this to seize shares and assets left by my client's father. Mark, or the man claiming to be Luke, looked deathly pale. Jasmine went hysterical. Impossible! I married Lucas. I have the certificate. The judge displayed the documents. DNA tests confirmed he was the biological child of Lucas Zhou's parents, but unrelated to Jian Zhou and Xiaoying Wang. He was adopted. Jian Zhou stood, trembling. I just wanted my youngest son to have a better life, so you murdered my father? I asked. He froze. The courtroom gasped. Murder. The word finally spoken aloud. The police entered again, this time arresting Jian Zhou and Xiaoying Wang. As Mark was escorted out, he looked back at me. Evelyn, these 7 years, not all of it was a lie. I said nothing. I watched him leave. Uncle Chin patted my shoulder. The divorce ruling is final. All property returned. Plus, his assets are awarded to you as compensation. I said thank you. Stepping out of the courthouse, the sunlight was blinding. 7 years of marriage. A lifetime of deception. I looked up at the sky. Lily, from now on, Mommy will live only for herself. 3 months later, Mark was sentenced to 7 years for bigamy, fraud, and attempted murder. Jian Zhou and Xiaoying Wang, as accomplices, got 3 years each. Jasmine was convicted of medical malpractice and interfering in a marriage but not bigamy, 2 years probation. Her medical license revoked, barred from practicing for life. The company went bankrupt and was liquidated. All assets went to me. I sold the company, cashing out 80 million. With that, I launched my own brand. And them? After Mark went to prison, the Zhou family completely fell apart. The old rural house was sold to pay debts. Xiaoying Wang, after release, had nowhere to go and rented a basement, scavenging daily. Jasmine fared worse. Without a license, she couldn't find work. Once reliant on looks and men, now no one wanted her. People spotted her bartending at a cheap bar, customers slapped her across the face. I took it all as a joke, focused on my career. 2 years later, my brand went public. I became the youngest female CEO of a publicly traded company. At the celebration dinner, I received a letter from prison. Mark had written it, long, full of confessions, saying he really had loved me, that everything had been forced by his father, that if he could do it over, he would choose me. I read it, then fed it to the shredder. Too little, too late, and a fake love. At that, the day Mark was released, I went to see him. Across the street, he looked older, 30-something, yet weathered like 50, in old clothes. Standing at the prison gate, no one came for him. He lingered, then slowly walked forward. Hunched, I followed in my car. He went to the cemetery, Lily's grave. He knelt, bowing over and over until his forehead was bruised. I got out and walked over. He froze when he saw me. Evelyn, don't call my name. I stood my ground. You don't deserve it. He cried, real tears, mixed with snot. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. Give me a chance to make it up. Make it up how? I asked. Return Lily? Return my father? Return 7 years of my life? He choked. I'll do anything for you. He crawled toward me, trying to grab my leg. I stepped back. Then die. I said, die, and I'll forgive you. He froze. Then he actually stood up and ran headfirst into a nearby tombstone. I watched coldly. He cracked his head, bled, but didn't die. Security dragged him away. He yelled my name the whole way. I didn't look back. Got in my car, drove off. In the rear view, he knelt there like a dog. 7 years later, the annual Business Association Gala. I was the president giving a speech. Spotlights on me, black evening gown, simple pearl necklace. The audience full of elites. Speech over. Applause thunderous. I walked to the VIP section. Passing the entrance, I spotted a familiar figure, Mark, in a security guard uniform, stationed at the door. He saw me, bowed his head, tried to hide. I walked up, his whole body tense. "Working here?" I asked. He nodded, avoiding my gaze. "Do your job well," I said, and turned away. Didn't look back. After the gala, I drove alone to the cemetery. Brought Lily's favorite teddy bear. Her gravestone photo showed her sweet smile. "Mommy's doing well now," I whispered. "You don't need to worry." The wind blew, like she was answering. I stayed there until dark. Driving down the mountain, I passed a cheap bar, a fight outside. I glimpsed a familiar figure, Mark, surrounded by thugs, being beaten for staring at someone else's woman. The woman? Jasmine, dressed provocatively, clinging to an old man. Mark saw my car and went crazy, pounding on my window. "Evelyn, help me, please. Save me." I didn't roll the window down. I swerved the wheel and drove around him. In the rear view, he was dragged back, punched and kicked. Jasmine laughed beside him, lighting a cigarette. I pressed the gas, drove far away. City lights flickered on behind me. Turned on the radio, a cheerful song. Windows down, night wind rushing in. Cool, clear. I was alive. They were finished, and that was enough.